Oh man. So I appreciate everybody coming on. A big reason why I started this page was to really get back. So I finished up one season at Drake. I was there from 2014 or 2024 and 2025. After that 2024 season, it was my second season with the D line. I felt very humbled and I really wanted to dive in and learn more about D line play. And the trenches were so much faster. I was so used to linebacker because that's what I played in high school. That's what I've coached a lot more was a linebacker, and it just humbled me and want to learn about D line play a lot more. And I just really wanted to get back and just kind of have fun. Well, I've been out of college for a year or two, and just really get back. And that's what this page is for, and to hopefully help guys learn about D line play and just give back to the community because coaching has been such impactful to me. And there's this quote in our D line room when I was at Drake. It talked about it's from Coach Stipp. It talked about going to your grave. You never want to have like a preserved body. Like why not take chances? Why not take risk? I'm misquoting it, but I'm just kind of summarizing it. But it was just such a great quote where you can't take any chances in life. Like you're gonna pass away one day. Like why not go all out and give everything you got? So I'm gonna turn it over to Coach. I appreciate you so much coming on, Coach, and being willing to share and give back. And it's your room, brother, and run it however you want.
I appreciate it, man. I really do appreciate you having me on first and foremost. And I hope whoever is watching this or listening to it or whatever gets something out of it. That's my goal. If everybody can get one thing out of it, I think it's worth doing and worth listening to, whether it's confirming something that you believe, learning something new, or saying, man, that guy's a dumbass. I'd never do anything that he would do. Whatever it is, there might be something that you can get out of it. And that's my goal. And I appreciate you doing this to be able to give back to people, man. I've been doing this a long time, and hopefully I got some time left, a while left. And one of the things I like best is helping people be the best version of themselves. And if I can get, there's one thing that somebody can get from me, then it's worth doing. And honestly, I'm honored that anybody won't want to listen to me say anything. So I appreciate that. I do want to say to you, thank you for what you're doing on social media. And there's some other guys that do some D-line stuff on social media. There's a tackling page. There's a couple of offensive pages, and growing the game of football the way you are through social media. I think you're growing the game without even maybe knowing that you're doing it. Because I'll see clips on there. I'll share in my story. I shared some clips this morning to some of the guys I'm working with right now. It was like the perfect text game, and our kids love seeing that. That's how they learn now. They learn through pictures and videos. The words on the board don't mean shit to them anymore. So, I really wanted to say thank you, and I hope you realize the impact that you're having on football when you're doing those pages. So, thank you for doing that.
I appreciate you so much, Coach.
Yes, sir. All right, let me jump into this. I don't want to bloviate too much, and I do have a bunch of clips that I'll go through as fast as I can, uh, but I want to get through all of it. And that's why I say as fast as I can because I do think all of it matters. Um, and look, there's a million different ways to do things, and this is the way that's worked for me. It's constantly evolving. Evolving. I feel like I've learned some things even in the past 4, 5, 6 months that I've added to this presentation, and I know there's some other theories out there, and that's okay. That's okay. I want to keep growing and learning, and I hope everybody who's watching this does too, and it has an effect on you. That's my man Derek Hall, who had a pretty good Super Bowl, so good for him. But so when we look at pass rush, okay, I feel like I wanted to break it down into phases because I don't we're teachers. We teach football, we teach life. Saying to a guy, man, you got to win. You just got to win your one-on-ones or hey, you got to have a plan. You got to have a better plan. That's not coaching. That's bitching. That's bitching and moaning. So coaching to me is let's correct the mistakes or help them be better, help them have a plan or be able to correct them on why maybe they didn't win or show them some positive clips of why they did win, right? So to me, there's four phases of a pass rush. And first and foremost, the most important phase is the takeoff. I believe that 60% of the plays is your get off. If you can get off the ball, you got a chance to win with speed. If you can get off the ball, have a chance to win with speed, you can convert to power. If you don't get off the ball, it's going to be really hard to win that rep. So the takeoff phase is number one. The approach phase, as you're approaching the blocker, is number two. The execution phase of whatever move you're using is number three, and then your finish phase, finishing on the blocker, then finishing on the quarterback, right? So to me, if one of my players is he doesn't win the pass rush rep, I want to be able to go to one of these phases and at least have an idea of explaining to him of why he didn't win. And I think if he starts looking at it in that respect, he'll understand what he needs to do better instead of just bitching at him for not winning. Okay, so also I want you to see number 24 in this picture has a pretty good 2 point stance. Almost chest on thigh, weight over his front foot, ready to roll off that front. That's a great 2 point stance, which we're going to go into stance here in a second, but I don't have that clip on the next page. So, okay, so the takeoff phase, phase one. Again, the most important one to me, credit card alignment. Okay, everybody, a lot of people use that. Credit card alignment. My hand gets as much of the ball as I can so that you can slide a credit card between the ball and my fingers, and then my head and my offhand have to make sure they stay behind my front hand or my down hand if I'm in a 3 point stance. If I'm in a 2 point stance, I got to make sure my head is not over the ball. But I do want to get as much of the ball as I can in the credit card of alignment to have a great get off. Okay. I want to draw a line. I've heard some speed angle, power angle. I don't know enough about it yet. I've heard people talk about having different angles of approach on the blocker. To me, I like to teach the speed angle, okay, and then everything off of that. Speed angle to me is I get line. I know it's birds. I know it's pass. I'm going to get widened out. I'm going to draw a straight line. Oops, a straight line between me and where I want to beat that blocker at. Okay, 3, 4 yards, wherever you pick the spot is to beat the blocker behind him. I want to have a straight line. That is my speed angle. Other people talk about a power angle, and I'm continuing to try to learn some more about that. I just don't know enough about it. All right, so I want to draw a line and run my line on that speed angle. Okay. If we know it's pass, we want to have a ball key. There's no reason to key the man if you know it's pass. You want to make sure your eyes are on the ball so you can get off the ball. If there's a question, is it run, is it pass, is it a rabbit stance or a bird stance? If it's run, I want to have my eyes on the near shoulder or whatever scheme you're running to have your eyes in the appropriate place. But if we know it's pass, it's third down, second and long, we got a bird stance. We want to have our eyes on the ball so we don't jump and we can get off great. Okay. Sprinter stance, toes and knees pointed towards the target. You see Trey Hendrickson here, great 3 point stance, leaning on it. He's got all his weight on his down hand. His weight is on his front foot. He's ready to roll off that front foot, has his shoulders, knees, and feet pointed in direction of where he wants to run that line. And the thing I tell my guys is, when Usain Bolt gets in the blocks, he doesn't have his knees pointed out, right? They're pointed in a straight line down the lane. He's running a 100-meter dash. You don't see a horse in the starting gate Kentucky Derby this weekend. I like the one, by the way, but you don't see him in the starting gate with his hoofs pointed in different directions. They're pointed straight ahead so he can have a great get off and get off with speed. Okay. And then roll off that front foot. No wasted movement. Again, most reps are won or lost in this takeoff phase. All right, so now getting into some takeoff drills that I like here. Let me go to this line here. Okay, so I know this isn't fancy drawings and stuff. I'm not that great, all right? But this line right here, this straight line, I'm trying to beat him to this spot. That's my straight line. I think when guys go up and around and try to beat the tackle outside up and around, it's maybe a little bit more exaggerated than the red line I drew. I think it's wasted movement, and that gives him more time to kick the set to you. So that's what the purpose of those lines are. The best I can draw them. Okay. Probably need to learn how to use that more. But we're trying to do our tag drill here. All right. So Derek's trying to get off the ball and tag the man before he has to take a third step. Okay. So weight on my front foot, roll off my front foot, low pads as I get off the ball, tag the man before I get to my third step. Just working on having a great get off. And I know we talked about keying the ball, but right now we're keying the man for the purpose of the drill. Okay. Then we'll go into the hoops and we'll key the man here. All right. So we're going to work on whatever speed rush move they have in the game plan that week. If this is spring ball or fall camp, whatever we tell them the focus is of the day, I like to give them a move they have to work on. To me, it's putting tools in their toolbox and then letting them decide what tools work for them. I'm not going to tell them, hey, you have to use this move. This move is good for you. No, 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 no. They have to believe in it. I've coached 20 NFL edges now, okay? And the biggest thing I think I've done is try to build confidence into them. Keep it simple. Show them some different things that they believe in, that they know what works, and they use it because they believe in it. So we're going to give them some different tools and let them use it. So right here, Derek's just working a chop rip, right? So my get off is very important, trying to beat the tackle to the spot, working a chop rip. And then as we round the hoop, we want to be nice and tight to the hoop, flip our hips and shoulders and run, reach. He doesn't reach there, so that's not a perfect rep, but we want to be tight as we try to finish on the QB. All right, the next man up, he's going to work a swipe. Speed get off, working a swipe, run, reach as I get tight around that hoop, run, reach for the quarterback. Run, reach gets my hips flipped, gets my shoulders flipped, gets my body going towards the quarterback. So I think the more we can practice that, the better. All right, so now maybe a little bit smarter. A couple of years later, I have the ball in the stick. We know it's a bird's read. It's third down. We're working our get offs and we're working our speed angle. We're trying to beat him with speed to the back of the hoop and then whatever move they want to use. Now, Jared Smith here, 41, he's going to end up being the best edge I ever coached. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not, but I'm saying it, right? Great get off here, great swipe, beating into the spot, then nice and tight to the hoop and run, run, reach. Not bad. Kieran Crawford was just a third round pick. He went with like a ghost or a stutter, but he's working his speed and a ghost, rip, run, run, reach. Good finish there by Key. Okay, so just working our get off and beating him to the spot. Chris Murray, number three, is going to work his chop rip, run, run, reach. Keldrick down here was a first round pick the other day. He's working speed to swipe, run, run, reach. Pretty good reps. So we're just working get off and speed. Now here's the practice clips. Can you guys see this okay, or is this box here with everybody's name and stuff?
I
It's
can see
good.
the
Okay.
name box.
All
Yeah, it
right.
looks all good.
Okay, yeah, as the box is covering Derek here. Derek's to the right. All right, he's got a nice wide alignment. He's got his angle picked out. I think that tackle is actually the guy that starts for the Seahawks, Charles Cross, I believe. Not positive about that, but it might be. So anyway, he's going to work his speed angle here. All right, he's going to try to beat the tackle to the spot, and you see a great get off here. Okay, great get off. Again, 60% of the play. He beats the man off the ball, beats him to the spot, chop, rip, run, run, reach, strip sack. So that is the drill that we're doing in practice, carrying over to the game. Okay. Now here's him with Seattle, and he works a little influence move there, like a jab and then club rip. But same type of thing. Get off the ball, beat him with speed, run and reach of the cue. Pretty good rep there by him there. Okay, here's him with the Chargers against the Chargers now. Now, there's two things in this clip I want you to see. First of all, he's to the left as we're looking at it. Watch how he's leaning on that front foot. He's almost rolling as the ball's about to be snapped, and he rolls off that front foot with no waste of movement. Rolls off the front foot, beats the tackle to the spot. Now he misses the sack, but he gets back up and finishes it. But that's a great get off. Now watch 53 on the other side. Watch the difference in the get offs. 53 steps back with his left foot. All right, now he's slow off the ball. That's why I keep saying the takeoff phase is the most important part of the play. Now, can 53 still win? Yeah, he could still win. He can adjust and all those things. But Derek's beat that man to the spot. He's got a much better chance of being successful. Okay. All right, now here's Eku Leota. He was with the Cardinals now. Here's him doing the same tag drill, trying to get to him before the third step. Has a great get off. Great get off. Tag. Okay, here's him against Carolina, South Carolina. Okay, he widens out. Now, guys always talk about, well, how high, how wide do you want him to be? I don't care. I don't care. We know it's pass, so who cares how wide he gets? Let him get as wide as he can without slowing himself down. He's widening out here where he knows what spot he wants to beat the man to. Okay, and then he's got his eye. You'll see his eyes keyed on the ball here. So good ball key. He's leaning off that. He's rolling off that front foot. He's got his all his weight going forward. Beats to the man to the spot. He had a great little pull slide speed move here, and this was his go-to all year. Before he got hurt, he would have been a pretty good draft pick. But here's a nice job by him on the pull slide, and then finishes with the sack. So again, all in the get off, the takeoff phase. Okay, now here's Kieran. He's got the orange cleats on the left. He's all the way outside on the left. I love how he loads up his back foot. That means all his weight is on his front foot. He loads up that back foot, ready to get off the ball. He's going to roll off the ball. Okay, he went with little ghost, right? Little ghost to 69. Flip his hips, rip, run, run, reach. Now he didn't finish with a sack, and if we could have held off that route a little bit longer, he's going to get a hit on the cue. We had a busted coverage in the back end, so we're not going to watch the end of that play. It brings back some bad memories. Well, we did win the game, but that would have helped him get a hit on the cue. I don't think it would have been a sack, but at least he would have hit in a knockdown. But a good get off. Here he is to the right, lined up to the right. He's going to have another great get off, the takeoff phase. He's going to try to beat the tackle to the spot. Goes with the ghost again, which was a good move for him. Ghost, rip, run, run, reach. Don't hit the quarterback in practice, but that's a really good look at it. Winning with speed. All right, now the second phase, the phase two, the approach phase. We got off the ball. Okay, we had a great get off. Now we're going to run our line and we've got to read the tackle. How am I going to attack this tackle? Before I get to the execution part of it, working my move, I've got to read the tackle. Okay, so if you look at this picture over here, okay, he's got open shoulders. 55 has open shoulders. So he's done two things. Number one, he's created a short edge to the QB. If the quarterback is deep, he's created a short edge to the QB by opening his shoulders. If the quarterback is set up, I'm going to do this here. If the quarterback is set up behind the tackle, well, now I've got to go speed to power. So do I have to convert at the level of quarterback to power, or can I call it a short speed move, right? Just a club rip or a chop rip or something that a ghost, something of that nature. So a short speed move if I have the open shoulders here. Okay. And the other pitcher now, 39, didn't have a great get off. He's popped straight up in the air. He didn't have a great get off. Now he's got more square shoulders by the tackle. Okay, so those three dots are where do I have to attack? I've got to attack either this outside arm, shoulder, or wrist, the middle sternum, or the inside arm, shoulder, or wrist. I like to do the elbow or the wrist, right? The shoulder, he's got a chance to grab you, but if you take away his elbow or wrist, he doesn't. So I'm going to influence either outside to work his inside arm, or influence inside to work his outside arm, or I'm going to influence the middle of his chest. Okay, so a jab step inside or outside to attack the opposite side, a quick stab to influence his chest, so he's got to shoot his arms, and then I'll attack his hands. A ghost stab, where I'm going to dip and rip. If he's a high setter and I throw a ghost stab and he reaches out for me, I can dip and rip. Or just a full on stab. He's got high pads, he's got square shoulders, but he's got high pads. I had a pretty good get off. He's got high pads, and I can work a stab, convert speed to power. So to me, that's how we influence the man. I hope this is all making sense. Okay, so that's the approach phase. So here's us working. I call this a read the set drill. All right, so I'm going against the tackle, Kieran 24, going against the blocker 11. All right, so here he has a short set. Kieran thinks he can win with speed. Again, it's his call. It's his call. All right, it's like basketball. He dribbles the lane. Now he's got to decide: am I going for the dunk? Am I going for a layup? Or am I going to pull up? Right. So now he's got to decide: am I going to have to convert to power? Or can I win with speed? He felt like he could win with speed, so he works his swipe, run, run, reach. Okay. Now, the second time he's going, now 11 has a deep set. He feels like the quarterback, he's going to be at level of Q, so he's got to convert to power. So we're reading the set of the lineman here. Now, the look is so important in these drills, right? So we got to spend a lot of time trying to teach these guys how to set as offensive tackles, because here, that's not a very realistic set by 11. But for the purpose of the drill, we got an idea that I'm going to have to convert to power there. So we're reading his set. Okay, this is my favorite clip of all time. Position meeting at the quarterback, especially against that team. But you'll see Derek is to the right as we're looking at it going against 74. Okay, good get off. Good get off. Now in the approach phase, the tackle has created a short edge. He's got open shoulders, created a short edge. So we got to go with a quick speed move. So he's going club rip. Quick. The quarterback is deep. Open shoulders by the tackle. Quarterback is deep. That should be money. That should be my sack, right? So I'm going to go with a quick speed move and beat him to the spot. Sack. On the other side, Leota just beat the tackle, beat the tight end off the ball. It was very loud. It was very that game. Okay, we won't go into it. But here, club rip, short angle to the QB. So quick speed move, flip my hips, get to the quarterback. So pretty good job there by Derek, really by both of them. All right, now here's a different look at a soft shoulder. Look at Derek again to the now. Look, watch 55 and 29. They're both reading the stances, the tackles. They're trying to communicate to each other. Derek sees birds. Echo relays the message back to him that he's got birds. We know it's pass. I can widen out. I'm supposed to be over here in a six technique. I know it's pass. Why not get outside? Why bury myself in a six? I know it's pass. You better be right. Okay, now 55. Open shoulders. Open shoulders at the level of the Q. I can't go with a speed move. I can't win outside with a quick speed move. I've got to convert to power. If I try to win outside with speed, all I'm going to do is open up an escape hatch for him. So again, read the set of the tackle on the approach phase. Got open shoulders. I got to convert to power and then just walk him back. I know it's easier said than done, but he just walks him back. Leota gets chipped. He's attacking 79. He feels like he can win with his swipe, and he does. So you got to put it in the hands of the players. They're the ones on the field. They're the ones doing the job. And feel like you got to teach them in the meeting room. Okay, so now we're working our jab steps here. Okay, here we're working a jab step outside, try to win inside. Win hands move inside. Okay, so jab out, win inside. So maybe it's the call that tells us to go inside. Maybe it's he oversets me, jump sets me real quick. Whatever the case is, I'm trying to jab step outside, go inside. On the next clip, I'm trying to jab in, go back out. So Derek jabs inside, goes with the cross chop back outside. Same with 98. Jab inside, cross chop back outside, and then run, run, reach to the QB. I think it's very important also to finish on these bags, not just work the move on this bag, but put this bag where the quarterback is going to be, because in practice, all we hear is stay away from the Q, stay away from the Q. If you never work on anything like this, you'll never work on finishing through the quarterback. So work our move and then burst through the quarterback. I think that that's something that I'm big on. And again, here, jab outside, hands move inside, burst to the cue. Pretty good job there. Okay, now 24 again to the left as we're looking at it. He works a jab outside, and then the hands move inside to win. Now we had a game, right? So that allowed him to go inside, but he works the jab step out, hands move in, quick hands move inside, a little chop, arm over to get to the cue. Pretty good job there. So again, the drill carrying over to the game. Okay, 55 to the right side of the screen here. He's going to work an up and under because we have an outside pressure on. So he goes jab with the outside foot, works a hand move inside, swipe inside, gets the quarterback off the spot. Effective rush, not a sack, but a very effective rush. We cause an incomplete pass. So pretty good move by him. Gets a tackle to kick on his speed angle, works a hands move inside, gets him to throw the ball out of bounds. All right, so now another way to influence. We're working his sternum now. We're influencing the sternum. You just saw we're influencing the outside arm or the inside arm. We had a couple examples of that. Now we're going to influence the sternum. First and foremost here with a stutter. Okay, so Jared's working a stutter here. Get off the ball, stutter. We got number three. He's already got his set. He's deep. I stutter. That gets the man to stop his feet. And if he's high when he stops his feet, then I can walk him back with a stab. So we're going stutter to a stab right there. So pretty good job by him. All right. Now you'll see this is Malcolm Kuntz here to the left as we're looking at it. His stutter is a little bit different. He loves this little foot drag. That's his changeup. So he goes stutter to power, and then a rip and finish. Okay, so influencing the man to get him to stop his feet. This is Malcolm back in college. On the left side of the screen, as we're looking at it, number 50 over here. Okay, terrible stance. He had a terrible coach back then. His coach is better now. So he stutters, little hesitation. Well, what does it do to 73? 73 stops kicking, gives him a soft shoulder. So he goes stutter to a ghost, speed rush win. So another way to influence the blocker. Okay, so pretty good job, obviously, by Malcolm there. Okay. All right, so now we got off the ball, our takeoff phase. We're approaching the blocker. That's the approach phase. Now we got to execute the move. What kind of move are what kind of rusher are you? I send this to the guys all the time. In the summer after we've gone through spring ball, we're going through our summer drills. What kind of rusher are you going to be in the fall? What are your moves? We try all these things, and some of the guys are like, I don't think that'll work for me. Just try it in practice. You never know if it's going to work unless you try it. So a single move, a chop, a swipe, a club, a rip, over, stab, whatever. Those are your single moves. Then you got double moves. It could be a chop rip, it could be a swipe and then a swipe again, a club rip, a club over, et cetera, et cetera. Then I've got some moves in a speed rush category, what we like to use in speed rush, then a speed to power category, and then some counters off of those things. And we try to drill these things. We got a lot of time, right? You get a lot of indie. You got a lot of time to drill these things, and again, it's up to the guy to work on things in his spare time and decide what's going to work for him. So I want to know by the end of fall camp, what kind of rusher are you going to be this year? Okay, it may change from year to year. All right, so here, this is during camp. We're just working a little hands move, long practice. We only had about 4 or 5 guys in practice that day, so just working a couple of hands moves. Tempo went down a little bit, not to gas them out. Now, I love this drill. We're putting 2 moves together. So either we got a chipper and then a tackle, or we've got a tackle and then the back trying to clean us up, or the guard slid to us, or whatever. Okay. One of the things with all these bags moves, I like to tell guys is I'm trying to train my guys to be like boxers. It's like shadow boxing, right? You don't know what move you're going to make. You have a plan maybe, but it may change as you approach the blocker. So we're trying to change them, train them as boxers. So as I'm approaching the bag, I may have to put a couple of moves together. And you want them to just react on the bag. So here we're working 2 moves to the left. So this is Colby Wooden, who's now with the Colts. He goes with a swipe to a club rip or a club over, swipe to a club over, and then a run, run, reach. So pretty good job by him there, putting a couple of moves together. Okay. Now here, maybe a little bit smarter. Got me being the pass setter, move on my foot. Keldrick is working a jab, club rip to a swipe. So putting multiple moves together, and he got double and triple team all year. So we had to try to train him to not have excuses and try to beat those guys. All right, so now Keldrick's going stab club and then a swipe. Stab club then a swipe. Try and put multiple moves together. Okay. Next is Kieran. This is good by Kieran. Watch this one. Stab club, convert to power. I tried to go stab club. It didn't work. The guy kicked back even deeper, convert to power with a stab. Love that. That's a really good combination. That happens a lot. So here's now we're going down the line. This is the first day we did it, I think. We're trying to work a swipe, convert to power. So I have them swipe on air and have the offensive look guy just keep kicking back. So I work my swipe. It didn't work. I got to keep kicking back and convert to power. So pretty good job there. Same thing here. We go down the line. Swipe. Kieran swipes on air, convert to power. And we go on down the line. 44, this was one of his first days moving from inside to help us with some depth. So he wasn't so good there. All right, so we go all the way down the line and we come all the way back. The other partner does it. I really believe like you need to see everybody do every rep. Don't just have five guys going. Or I'm seeing some things on Twitter making me sick watching coaches do seven guys hitting the sled at one time. How the hell are you coaching anybody to get better if there's seven guys going at a time? But so anyway, I had a blackout moment there, guys. Sorry. Now, Kuntz, okay, to the left side of the screen as we're looking at it. Now, here's the two moves, right? Kelsey tries to chip him, works a little arm over. Then he's got to work a move on the tackle, slips the tackle. So, similar to the two moves that we did on the pop up. And he doesn't get a sack or anything, but again, training them to be boxers and react, right? Uh, Now, here's Kuntz again. He's on the right side of the screen, the chipper. He's aligned outside the chipper. He's going to work a hands move on the chipper, slips him inside. Then he's going to work a slip on the tackle. Goes to power. I'm sorry, he goes to power. So he went with a hands move inside on the chipper, convert to power. So again, putting multiple moves together. The two moves drill. Okay, this one, you'll see Kieran to the right side of the screen as we're looking at it. He's going to go swipe and then swipe again. Didn't work the first time. Swipe didn't work. Then he goes swipe again. And then he has to go almost a third time to try to clean his arm off. Now, he doesn't win the rep. He doesn't get a sack or anything, but it's a pretty good rush. Pretty good rush. Okay. This one, Kieran again to the right. He's going to work an inside move on the chipper, and then he's going to work a nice tight over on the tackle. That's really good here. Rush outside the chipper, beat him, and then always try to beat the tackle inside. They love kicking too wide when they get chip help, and the nice little hands move on the tackle. So putting two moves together again. That's again, we feel like we train him in practice to do that. If you watch Keldrick, who's lined up inside here, number 15, he's working a nice move on the guard. People ask why his production was down this year. Okay, he's getting double teamed by a guard and a back. Like if the back wasn't there, if the back was actually chipping the outside guy, which is why we moved him inside on this rep, then he would have had a sack there. But all the attention he's drawn is in allowing 24 to be productive. Now 44's got to win there. But anyway, so that's two reps or two moves being put together. This is a really good one by Colby Wooden. He's going to go, he's on the right side as we're looking at it. He goes with a chop. He's going to go chop. It didn't work. He missed it, missed the arm. But then if you look at his right arm, he goes club, rip, and then a run, run, reach sack, called strip sack against A&M. That was a big play. We ended up winning that game. So chop, didn't work. Club, rip, run, run, reach to finish. Nice job by him there. Big play. That was a huge play. All right, I love the square bags. Again, just working different ways to use our hands on the square bags. We put them all in a square. They have to use a different move on every bag. They can't use the same move two in a row. And then we're going to burst to the middle of the bags. So we got to flip our hips and run our reach to the middle of the bags. That's where the quarterback is. And you got the line bags that everybody does. I still find a lot of value. I know there's a lot of things you see online with hurdles and other things and poles, and I still think there's a lot of value in having to club that bag, having a violent club. You can't just place your hand on a blocker's elbow or wrist. You got to be violent. So I think working down the line bags, I think is still very, very important. Okay, this one's Keldrick on the left side of the screen as you're looking at it. Just I feel like this is just pop-ups work carrying over. He tried to go with a pull slide. The guy leaned. If you just keep looking now, he goes to a swipe right there at the end. And then he has okay, so now swipe and then a third move right there, backstroke, getting his hand off of him and then finishing with the sack. Again, just training them like boxers. And look, I'm not saying this is because they did drills with me that they're these great players, right? But it's training, trying to train them to be what you want them to be. If you look at Trey Hendrickson, his top move, club rip, and now it's just about him playing harder than everybody else on the field, which is about what you get out of him. Club rip, flip my hips, run on reach. Again, bag work. We're working club rip on the bags. Okay, now he's going to go with the tight over inside. He actually doesn't even bring the over, but if he did, it would be even more violent. Just works a club with the inside arm. Get off me. Try to go arm over would be even more violent of a sack. So again, just training him. This one we already saw, but we'll watch it again because it's a beautiful clip. Um, Club rip by Derek on the right as we're looking at it. Club rip, not even a violent club. Could be more violent. So there's always room for improvement. Okay, now speed to power. All right, so takeoff phase, approach phase. We're into the execution phase. So if you look at number 10 here, nice wide alignment. He's going to run his line, has a great get off, a great speed get off, gets a soft shoulder from 74, and the quarterback is going to be, at level. He's going to be at level quarterback, so he converts the power. Convert the power right there, walking back. Right? If he tried to win with speed, he would have just got run by the QB up the field. But he felt he was at QB depth, so he goes convert to power. A really good rush by 10 there. He's a very, very talented player. Okay, so now we're going to work the stab. Convert to power, we're working a stab. All right, so violent stab. I think it's important. This clip here is pretty good to watch both guys. If you look at Derek here on the right as we're looking at it, he's got the same arm, same hand. The other thing you'll notice is good body lean. He's committed to working the stab. He's going power. If you look at the other guy, 98, he doesn't. When he makes contact, his right foot is up in the air. He's not going to have as much power. All right. And he also doesn't have the body lean that 29 has. Yeah, 29 is explosive in the weight room. He's stronger and all those things, but the power comes from the lean and having the same foot and hand on the ground at the same time. It's not always going to look pretty, but that's a pretty good look at what you're trying to get out of it. Okay, now here's 15 getting off the ball, convert to a stab. I think it's important to train it this way where we're getting off the ball, working a stab on the bag, being violent on the bag. Okay, then we go to a man later. Here he is on the other side. Great get off. Same arm, same leg. Lean into it. Lean into it. Commit to the power. Okay, so now we're going to go to the man. I think it's important to feel the power on the man. Okay, again, I had three guys going at a time. I was a bad coach in this drill. Okay, lean on the man. Commit to the power and get him going backwards. Then we'll work a move off of the stab. Okay, so feeling the stab. This is Jeffrey Emba. He's to the right here, number 5, lined up against his tackle. Pretty good get off for a big man at about 315. Okay, then he's going to work to a power, to a stab, and walk the man back to the QB with a strip sack. Emba played a little bit outside. That was in 22. Pretty good job by him there. Okay, here's 29, soft shoulder to the left as we're looking at it. He also probably was thinking chip by the back, but he gets a soft shoulder and a high set by that tackle. That's easy money. Not a sack, but he makes the guy hit the check down really quick. 46 should be in good position to make a tackle now. Okay, this is one we watched earlier. Again, Derek to the right as we're looking at it. Gets a soft shoulder, execute speed to power, walking the man back into the QB. All right, I think it's important when we do stab to stay square on the blocker as much as we can. Stay square. All right, because if the quarterback escapes, if we go speed the bull and we got our body turned towards the blocker, towards the quarterback, and the quarterback escapes to our right, we can't do anything about it. But here, Derek does a nice job staying square as he's working that stab to be able to get off the block and work back outside to try to keep the QB in the pocket as long as he can. That's a really good job. I think that's really important. Okay, here he converts the power on the left, going against 65. I think that was a pretty highly rated player that year. Loses his mouthpiece here, but good job. He kicks back high and hard into my line. I'm at level of the Q, convert to power. Okay, this is a really good one on the right side of the screen. Okay, so he works a stutter. He stutters. 75 really stops his feet, as you can see. On the stutter, he stops his feet. Okay, so Derek has really good timing here because the guy stops his feet and he's lunging a little bit, but then he raises his pads up and he works right to the stab. And I'm not sure how we didn't get a sack on this one, but that's really good timing on the punch and committing to the stab with the stutter. Nice job. Okay. All right, here's 24 again to the left. This was last spring, about a year ago. Only had him for the 1 year. Man, I really wish I had another year with this guy. But he's working a stutter to a stab, walks tackle back into the QB. Stutter gets a tackle to stop his feet. He becomes even worse of an athlete, right? We should be a better athlete than I'm not trying to say that kid's a bad athlete. I'm just saying we should be better. Makes him stop his feet, and then I go to a stab, walk him back right to the QB. Pretty good job. Just stay off the QB. Those guys make a lot of money. Okay, now here's Kuntz again to the right. Now, I'd say this about this one, unlike the one I showed to Derek earlier, there's no body lean. Okay, he's committed to it, but I think that's the difference between a sack and an almost sack is that there's no body lean, not as much power as he can have on this one, but it is a pretty good stab. I like him to be a little more physical. Okay. All right, now we're working our stab, and sometimes you're not going to be able to walk him back all the way. He's going to shoot his arms as a reaction, and then we're going to work a club over. Stab to a club over. Okay. It's a pretty good job there. Now here we are doing it on the pop-up stab to a club, just doing it another way to work it, just working the technique, slowing things down. Okay, now here's 24 to the right as we're looking at it. I'm going to go in slow motion the whole time so you can see it. It's a really good job by him. Okay, he works stab, club. Nice. Stab, he influences the chest with a stab, gets 79 to shoot his hands and then sets up the club with the stab. Stab, club, and then finish with the sack. Really nice job there. It's awesome when you see things that you work on in practice carrying over to games, man. They're very satisfying feeling. Okay, now here's stab to a forklift. High setter. I stab him. He shoots his hands. They're high on my shoulder pad. I'm going to grab the wrist and work a forklift. So pretty good job there. And then again, here's Kieran last spring. Stab, grabs the wrist, working a forklift. Not as clean as you like, right? But probably the first time he had ever done this. That's really good. Grabs the wrist. If you keep that wrist, he can't block with it. So stab to a forklift and then finish on the cue. Now we're going to work a stab. We get to level the QB. I'm going to finish below at level QB. I don't want to keep working upfield. Finish below at level QB with a violent arm over. It's got to be violent arm over at level Q. Okay, this is as good a clip as I think you'll see of this move. Derek's on the left. Okay, he goes stab on 76, walks him back. I also talk about aiming for the outside number on the stab, just so we can keep the QB in the pocket. And you'll see here, he's on the outside number, and at level of QB with a violent arm over, he finishes below for a sack. That's really, really good. Walking him back, keep him in the pocket, caging the QB, finishing with a sack. Love it. And then here's Jared, the young freshman last year. Okay, great get off. Guy tried to jump set him a little bit. Tries to mix up his timing of his punches. Okay, so Jared's going to go to a stab, influence the chest, and then finish below on the senior. Nice job. Good rush. Okay, here's him doing it in the game against South Alabama. He's to the right as we're looking at it. Get off. Going to work a stab on 72. Level QB. Violent finish below. He could be more violent on his shed. But man, that's a pretty good job finishing below with a strip sack. So again, drills carrying over to the game. And then here's Trey to the left as we're looking at it, leaning on that front foot. He actually false steps, but he's walking the guy back, finish below. Violent arm over finish, man. That is awesome. Okay. And then, spin is a good counter move. A lot of guys, these one-on-ones they're doing, and you see it all over social media. They're doing one-on-ones in high school, and they're spinning inside, they're spinning outside, and all that. I do like spin as a counter move. Here's a good one by Kieran last year. He tried to influence him inside, it didn't work. Tried to go ghost outside, he got stuck. Then he gets to level Q, and he spins back inside as a counter. So I think it's important to drill those things as long as you're at level QB and you can keep the quarterback inside. Here's a good one by Kuntz on the left part of the screen as we're looking at it. Okay, gets the level Q, spins back inside for a sack. Nice counter. Not real clean, didn't look real pretty, but it was productive. All right, so now phase 4. We got off the ball, takeoff. We won our takeoff. We approach the man. We know what move we have to make. Phase 3, I executed my move. Now I've got to finish the move. Okay, finish on the blocker, then finish on the quarterback. If you look at this picture right here, the top of the rush, This is something I really started last year focusing more on this. Guys were getting to the rush and not finishing them, right? Like right here, Trey is engaged the blocker with the club rip. Now he's got to stack. He's got to take that left foot and stack the blocker. If he stacks the blocker can't block him anymore. So we'll work a lot of times now at the top of the rush, right? Not just the moves, but getting to the top of the rush and working on finishing the rush on the blocker. Then you got to finish on the quarterback. The strike zone is very important. You can't hit him too low, that's a penalty. Can't hit him too high, that's a penalty. So the strike zone is the bottom of the numbers to the top of the knees. Top of the knees to the bottom of the number, just like baseball. Okay. Then you want to attack the ball. Strip sack that Jeffrey Emba had right there. He's attacking the ball in the middle, attacking the ball. Okay. Strip sack. That's a finish. And then wrap and finish, land on the side of the quarterback. I know in the league it's a big fine. If you land on top of the QB, right, that's a fine, a penalty. It's also in college now. So we have to teach these things. Otherwise, our guys are going to get fined and get penalized. So here we're just working the same thing on the hoops, right? Speed and then finishing on top of the blocker, right? So now Keldrick, I've always heard about point the toe, point the toe, point. That is important to make sure our toe is pointed that way towards the quarterback. But I think stacking the blocker is even more important. I've got to get on top of that blocker, just like punt coverage. If this is the guy blocking me, if I stack him in punt coverage, I'm going to win the rep. Just like here, if I stack the blocker, he can't block me anymore. I mean, as long as the quarterback's deep, right? If I'm at level Q, I can't do that. But here we're simulating that the quarterback is back here. So I've got to take my right foot and stack the blocker. Take my right foot and stack the blocker. And I'm not going to tell you all these things look pretty and are perfect. This is something we've all got to get better at because I just don't think we drill it enough. Here we're working, we've already approached the blocker. We're going to work our swipe. Okay, now watch Kieran. Look where his right foot is. Yeah, his toe is pointed towards the quarterback, but it's way outside the framework of that offensive lineman's body. I want his foot to be back here as he swipes. And you'll see I try to correct him. You watch his foot here, it's not where you want it. So finish on top of the blocker. And again, it's not going to be perfect the first time we do it, guys. Now, this was pretty good. 44 is going nice and slow. Again, I told you he converted from inside to out, but that's where we want his foot to be. Look where that right foot is over here. It's on top of the blocker and his toe is pointed towards the quarterback. That's going to be a productive rush. Now we got to speed up the process to get there and all those things, but we're working on the finish phase of it right here. That's pretty good. Okay, now here by Kel, he works the move right there. See his right foot on top of the blocker? That's going to be a win. All right, 15 here. This is not going to be a win, Kel. Look where his right foot is. His right foot is out here. Yeah, his shoulders are turned towards the blocker, but the dummy, our dummy guy, he's their offensive tackles will be better than that. That's not going to be a win, right? So we got to work on stacking. All right. Um, Same thing here. Chris gets his shoulders turned. There's one really good example I want to show you. I think it's 41 coming back the other direction. Here it is right here. This is really good. Works the swipe. Look where that right foot goes. Okay, right there. Okay, right there. That right foot is stacking his outside foot and his toe is pointed that way. His hips and shoulders are pointed towards the quarterback. Okay, so again, just working on things that I think will help us in the long run of finishing on the blocker. Okay, now this was during a special teams period. My assistant, Wayne Dorsey, great coach, coach, great human being. He's working with Kel here, just working on the cross chop, feeling the rip, and then feeling the spin part of it, right? Adjusting that level quarterback. You don't have to do things 10,000 miles an hour to get better at them. Okay, so here he is feeling it to adjust back inside on the spin at level Q. And then here he is trying to work the chop rip and then feeling like I'm going to stack the blocker with my right foot. And you see right here, it could be even better right there. That right foot, if it's a little bit more on top of him, there's no way that man's going to block me. So they're just slowing it down, working on some of the finish phase here. And then this is the finish on the quarterback part of it here. This is a penalty with Kieran. I just got done. We showed the film of what we were going to do and why we're doing it. And then he goes, here, we finish on top of the quarterback. That is a penalty, right? All his weight lands on top of the cue. So this is why we do these things, to try to expose him to it. Now he's in the league and hopefully it saves him $20,000 or whatever. So 41, wrap that quarterback up, try to land on the side of the cue, let go of him as you're hitting the ground and avoid a penalty. Goodbye, Kel here. Wrap the cue and roll with him. Land on your side. Don't land on top of him. Same thing here. Okay, land to the side. Let go of him with that right arm on the way down so your body doesn't land on top of his body. So we did these things a couple of times during training camp. And then we're working on finishing on the QB here with the strip. Works as swipe, stack, finish part of the move, and then working the strip on the ball. Okay, so finishing on the cue, attacking the ball. So all the things we talk about, um, and I hope you saw here in the video, there's things that we do in practice that are carrying over to the games. I want to leave this up here for a second in case somebody wants to take a picture of my contact information and all that stuff. Because I'd love to help if there's questions or anything like that. So I'm going to stop sharing, and then you can look at my ugly face again. But I hope you saw things that we're really trying to influence or teach in the meeting room, going out to practice, doing them in practice, doing them in the game, having good practice examples and drills, practice examples in one-on-ones or team, game film, and then seeing a professional guy do the things that we're teaching. I think there's a lot of value in that for our guys to have even more buy-in for what we're trying to teach them. And again, I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm not saying I got all this shit figured out. I'm trying to learn every day, but hopefully there's something that you guys got out of it. If there's any questions or concerns or anything, just let me know.
Questions for Coach?
They were either bored to tears or they shut it off. No, I'm
No
kidding.
doubt. But I noticed you kept mentioning like the stutter. Like, what are your thoughts on teaching on the stutter and like versus like a hezzy? Because I know
Yeah.
you mentioned like stutter a good amount, and that's something
Mhm.
I've always thought about too. Like the stutter versus the hezzy. Like when I think of the hezzy, it's like you're almost at like a complete stop. Well, a stutter, you have active feet.
Yeah, Kuntz kind of does a hezzy, right? He hesitates, but he doesn't really stop either. He continues to go forward. I like that. I like the stutter better because, like you said, active feet, I can activate them again, right? They don't ever really truly stop. And I think when you do stutter, it forces you to lower your pad level a little bit. So if you are going to go to a bull, if you have to react to a bull or a stab, you're going to lower your pad level and be even more powerful. And if you're going to go stutter to a speed move, you got your pads down, you're ready to attack quickly. So I do like the stutter. I think there's a lot of value in it. And, guys, with all this 7-on-7 and now just 5-on-5 league, they don't ever get to do those things, right? You can't bull rush and things of that nature. So I think there's a lot of fuel in the tank for those things that you're teaching them because they've never done them before.
No, I appreciate that answer, Coach. Something else I wrote down was like, how do you optimize your time? Because I know you mentioned like, hey, you've seen clips where they've had seven guys going at once, or you said you felt like a bad coach having three guys go at once. Like how do you optimize your time at like different levels? Let's say like to engage like a high school coach or a smaller level coach, like to bring value where you feel like
Yeah.
you're getting that one-on-one teaching.
Yeah, it's hard. I think, one of the things at the level I'm at, or even in the NFL, right? You have guys that know what they're doing. You have multiple guys that can help you, and one guy can watch one line while you watch the other line. Or if you do want to go down the line one at a time, if someone screws something up, he can pull them to the side and slow it down, right? When these trainers, the personal trainers with pass rush, it's great. Whatever helps our guys get better. They have all the fancy drills and they can do all these things. We can't, right? We don't have time for the setup of this drill and that drill and finishing with a med ball and a pole, and that they can do those things. That's great. Do them. But for us, we have to be a little bit more efficient with our time. We may get a 15-minute indie, right? Then we're
Mhm.
going to team or special teams. And I know it's really hard in high school. I guess what I would say is it's still important for that kid to get coached, and it's the worst kid on in your room has got to be better than the worst kid in the team that you're playing's room, right? So maybe it's doing fewer drills. Like I'm not a big apparatus guy. I'm not a huge have a million different drills guy. Now, if there's something our guys need, Pete Jenkins always said this: you're like a doctor, right? You've got to write a prescription for a problem, and the player has to believe in you as a doctor. Otherwise, you're not. He's not going to apply the med. He's not going to take the medicine. So I think you do have to have some flexibility in drills, but as a high school coach, I would have few drills and get it going. I think the main thing I'm going to speak to a group this summer about coaching, trying to get them to teach them about coaching. Like, be organized. Go out. Don't think on the way out to the field. What am I going to do in Indy today? No, have a plan. Have a few things. Have your guys get better and better at a very few things instead of a million different cool things you saw on Twitter, right? So I get it. I was a high school coach for 2 years. There's only a certain time amount of time you got, but let's get better at a few things. I hope
Yeah.
that
Rob,
answers.
I got a question, Rob.
Yes, sir.
On in your pass rush plan, just as going out of day one rule for both ends, do you teach both of them level rush, or you teach one high chase contain? How did you go about teaching it? Just like
That
a base
is,
rule, like if you're in the over front
yeah.
or pass rush third down
Man,
rush.
that is, I'm really glad you asked that because I want to get with you at some point and figure out how different people are teaching it because to me, it's always been speed, don't run past the quarterback on both sides. And
Hmm.
now, the past few years, it's been that, Terry, where, to the three technique side, you're the high rusher and maybe be alert to a natural twist. When you're away from the slide, you're the low rusher, the speed, the power guy. You got the push mirror cover guy, whoever's to the slide. And I just feel like maybe that's slowing some of the, especially the inside guys down. Like last year, I felt like our outside guys were getting a lot of pressure. Our inside guys weren't getting much push because they're worried about push mirror cover and things of that nature, right? So I want to get with you at some point and figure out how I can teach these guys better. Because I do, I feel like if you're to the slide side, you're the high rusher, and if our three technique is really upfield, you can
You got to
make it a
feel them.
natural game, right? If you're
Yep.
away from the slide, I think you got to be a low rusher so that you're not opening up a big window.
Yep.
So
Here's a question from a coach in the chat. Like, what is your favorite pass rush game?
I think games are a nice change up. My favorite pass rush game is go win. I think when you're too reliant on games, I think our guys slow down their get off. To me, the key to a text game is the get off of the outside guy and to get off of the inside guy. If the inside guy gets off the ball and rushes through the B gap and occupies that guard, and the outside guy gets off the ball and runs up the field and then wraps nice and tight off that inside guy, the tackle's not going to be able to get to him. But if we start thinking about the game and we start running the games too much and relying on them, both of our get offs are going to be shitty. We're going to end up getting stuck on the line of scrimmage. We get nothing out of the game. I guess I do. If I had a preference, if you can know which side the man side is going to be, I like what would be an exit or an eat or whatever, the end first, and really giving that guy the opportunity to win. Don't go pick the guard and give yourself up. Pick him if you can't win, but winning inside in the B gap to me, like go speed, best inside move, and have the inside guy just pushing the A gap, and then don't wrap until you see color flash. That's my favorite game. And then again, if you know which side the slide side is and you can win on the man side with either one of those games, I think that's good. I think we've gone away too, and maybe just the personnel that we've had at tackle the last couple of places I've been, we've gone away from twist and read in the center, and we're not getting much out of those guys. And maybe there's just not enough big guys on the planet that can really, really move and rush the passer inside. But those used to be very productive because it let the outside guys have a little bit more freedom or a little bit more room to work at level QB. So I hope that answered the question.
Let me ask this. I know you mentioned you said you've coached 20 guys that made it to the highest level. Besides like the physical traits, like what has been different for them? Like, you know what I mean, whether it's work ethic or what would maybe that separate them to get to that next level.
Well, I think for every guy, it's been something a little bit different. For some guys, it's there's no way I'm going to fail. Having that attitude of no one's going to stop me from getting to my goals. Um, but I just think of the last two guys that I had this year. And it'll probably be four guys more in that room that'll get drafted at some point. But Keldrick Falk was the best teammate I've ever been around in my life, the most selfless player I've ever been around. He didn't care about his stats. He didn't care about any of that. And the guy last spring he didn't practice because he had shoulder surgery. He was the first one upstairs watching the film of practice, right? When we're in the meeting room and I'm trying to coach, and he had his younger brother in there and Jared Smith, a younger guy that he would stop the meeting and get up and explain things on film. And man, to me, a player-led team is the way to go. I'm not going to stop him unless he's wrong, and he was never wrong. Like the most selfless guy you've ever been around. And when I come home in May from recruiting on a Friday night, I look out there because I forgot something in my office. I come home, I look, what the hell? Keldrick's out there hitting a sled at 7 o'clock on a Friday night. I know what I was doing at 7 o'clock on a Friday night when I was in college. And then Cam Coleman's catching the ball on the jugs, right? There's a reason those two guys are going to be first round picks. Kieran Crawford was a guy when I got in there that was a free agent grade. It was a rotational player at Auburn, and I saw something in him, and I just felt like I built confidence and belief into that kid that he was going to be superhuman. And he went and took the things that I told him he needed to get better at. He'd be in the indoor on Saturday by himself working on tackling or drops or pass rush moves on the bags, and just the work ethic and the refusal to fail. I think that's the common denominator with the best guys that I've been around.
Shit that. Anybody else got questions for Coach?
Rock, last one. I know I'm
Yeah.
picking your brain. I know it was a lot of pass rush drills. It's a pass rush clinic. What's your teaching progression on work and run? Do you work it every day or
Oh yeah, for
throughout game
sure.
week?
No, yeah, we do for sure. It's it's the attack, react, attack,
Hmm.
stunt mode, all that good stuff. I'm a firm believer in all of it. We'll do it every day, right? And depending on what the game plan is, if we're going to be three down more or four down more, we'll structure our indie that way. But I love hitting the sled. I used to not be a big sled guy, but just when you got some of these big guys that get paid a lot of money, as you know, right? You can't be hitting people as much.
Right,
So,
right.
but explode, drive, release, and mirror step, 2 foot push, and all the attack react stuff. I'm a big believer in all that, man. I've just seen it really just breaking it down that way, where you're teaching certain modes and guys understanding what mode am I in and why am I in this mode? What am I trying to get out of it? I just think it's just
Hmm.
brilliant, man. Pete is a great teacher.
Yeah, I'm going down to Thibodeau this summer actually.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That'll be great. You'll
Yeah,
love
I
that.
couldn't do it last year, but
Yeah.
I love going out. He teach for a whole 2 hours, really.
Yeah.
BD going too.
Is he? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tell him and Joe I said hello.
I will.
Appreciate it.
I said this, Coach. Do you have anything you want to publicize about NC State, whether it's camps or anything like that, or
Oh
guys
man,
that help you get here to be where you're at? Whatever you want to do, man.
I didn't even think about the camp thing. I don't even know when they are, to be honest. It's sometime in
You're
June.
good. You're all good.
June used to be fun in this business. Yeah, and I used to play golf every morning, come in and do some things. Now June's hell. But I don't know, man. I'm really thankful to have be my 32nd year in coaching, college coaching. Been a coordinator for 18 years. I hope to be a coordinator again real soon. Very thankful to all the people who poured into me, and that's why when you asked me to do this, I told you I would back in February, and it didn't work out at that time. I feel it's important again, whether you believe what I'm saying or not, I feel like it's important to try to give people things that I believe because that's what people did for me 32 years ago, and I still am looking for those things. So I think there's different seasons in life, and everybody has a different path, and that's okay. There are a lot of guys that whether you may feel like you're better than as a coach and you've worked with them and you feel like, man, I'm as good or better than him. Why does things happen for him faster than me? Your path is a little bit different. God has a different plan for everybody. And if you just, whatever He wants from you, whatever path you're on, if you just maximize that to the best of your ability, then you're pleasing Him. And that's the most important thing. And you're getting better at your craft. And eventually, chips are going to fall and you're going to be in the right spot. And for me, it took me 20 years to become a Division I football coach. And now I'm coaching in the highest level of leagues at in college. And, I still have an itch I'd like to scratch to try to get to the NFL at some point if I can, just to see what it's like, and again to be a coordinator again and call the plays, I think is great. So, man, just keep working one day at a time, one foot in front of the other. Keep your head down, don't look up, and next thing you know, it's 10 years later, and you're in a much better spot. I mean, that'd be the only advice I have.
Appreciate it so much, Coach. I'm gonna stop the recording and